Will the animosity between worlds boil over into full-on multiversal war? Well, let's hop into the pages of Infinite Frontier issue number 4 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we open up the book, we once again rejoin the interesting new world's finest team that is Thomas Wayne of Flashpoint and President Calvin Ellis. Dr. Thomas basically gets to see a day in the life of a man who is both Superman and the President of the United States. Personally, I just kind of love Thomas's suit right here. You would never see a Batman wearing white, but here you are. The two men are still trying to get to the bottom of all of these strange happenings throughout the DC multiverse, and Calvin thinks he may have a lead, his own world's Lex Luthor. We also discover in this issue that Calvin's Fortress of Solitude is just in the Oval Office. He even has his own Helix too, how fun. As this Batman and Superman team discover, it seems that Calvin's Lex Luthor was indeed experimenting with multiversal arcs like the one we've seen all throughout this story. The only problem is that once he came close to finishing the project, he was murdered. And he might not be the last body to hit the floor either, as we check back on in with Alan Scott Green Lantern and his son Obsidian. At the end of the last issue, they had been taken captive by Mr. Bones and the DEO. The heroes are in good spirits though, and why shouldn't they? This isn't the first time they've been taken captive, and it certainly won't be the last. Usually these situations end with the JSA busting on in and saving them. This is why if Bones is going to complete his plan, he's going to have to move quickly and make sure that Alan and Obsidian are on that next arc. To where? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Cameron Chase, being a mystery solver at heart, desperately wants to know what the hell is exactly going on now, but DEO leader Bones continues to keep her out of the loop, saying that she should just be happy that one of his agents, Extract, was able to save her from the exploding Captain Atom a few issues back. When that answer is not good enough, Mr. Bones is ultimately pushed to explain that the greatest threat to the Earth now is multiversal incursions and interference from those from other universes. He says that superhero kind has played God for the last time. Never again will they be able to retcon, rewrite, and reimagine the Earth as they see fit. And that everything Bones has been doing with Extract and the Arcs has all been part of a devil's deal that he struck to make sure that Earth stays segregated from the other Earths in the multiverse. Chase again refuses this non-answer and decides that if Mr. Bones is sending off Alan Scott and Obsidian in an arc, maybe it's best that they all go together. Now, speaking of arcs, and in the last issue, Jade and her newly reformed Infinity Inc. had actually taken over one controlled by old Green Lantern foe Hector Hammond. This ultimately ended up leading to a fight with the newly christened Black Lantern Roy Harper, but the fight doesn't go on for long. Jade recognizes her old friend from the Titans and even the Outsiders, and the two ultimately decide to hug it out, Roy realizing that every time he tries to tap into the power of the Black Lantern ring, the more likely he is to end up losing his mind to these strange evil powers within. Figuring that they're all so close to the truth anyway, they're just gonna ride this arc directly to its end destination, that being the Omega Earth. The place where we as the reader know a newly resurrected Darkseid killed the Quintessence, and the same place that Psycho Pirate is holding Barry Allen Flash hostage right now. These multiversal arcs really are the hot new accessory for the season, because back at Justice League Incarnate HQ, Machine Head is putting the finishing touches on one for him and his team. The plan is still very much to try and get Thomas Wayne back home, not to his own universe though, because well, that doesn't exist, and maybe not to the main Earth Zero either, as Bruce still would probably try and beat the crap out of his dad on sight for all the evil stuff he pulled during the Tom King run, though admittedly Thomas does have a moment of insight when he looks into the multiverse and sees all the many different versions of his son who still decided to be Batman. It's here the most unexpected twist ends up happening, and again, skip to the end if you don't want it spoiled, because I legitimately didn't see this coming. Machine Head ultimately ends up turning on Thomas and the rest of Justice League Incarnate. And his reasoning actually makes a lot of sense and is steeped in continuity. You'll remember that Machine Head is actually the Iron Man analog from an Avengers-style Earth 8. His universe was destroyed in a secret war because of outside influence from the multiverse, which means that Machine Head is more dedicated than ever to make sure that doesn't happen again by keeping the Earth separate from one another. And as we soon discover, Machine Head isn't the only one who feels this way either. He's recruited a whole team of multiversal villains, the Injustice League Incarnate. And oh boy, does he have some heavy hitters on his team. We got Superwoman from Earth 3, Dr. Savannah from the Fawcett universe, a Yellow Lantern Joker, and even a shitty 90s version of Dr. Fate who stuck around. And it's on that rather surprising surprising note right there, the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was Infinite Frontier issue number 4. And once again, Joshua Williamson manages to make it look easy spinning all these different story plates at once. It's rather cool to see all these different villainous factions ultimately come to the same idea completely independently of one another. The multiverse has always been a concept in DC Comics, but I don't think we've ever seen it explored like this before. Or how once the truth of multiple Earths was finally out of the bag and your average Joe knew that they're not the only versions of themselves out there, that it would ultimately end up shifting the cosmic balance of power in ways that heroes could never have imagined. We also found out this week that Justice League Incarnate is going to be getting their first ever mini-series written by Joshua Williamson, so I get the feeling that a lot of the story we've seen here is going to continue in that book as well. Overall, I'd give this one a very positive 8.5 out of 10. Really digging this one.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.